Welcome to another Nora Finch video. Mental readiness coach here again, specializing in first responder wellness. So I posted and said I was going to be talking about first responder challenges and concerns. Those of you who have voiced, and I'm so thankful that you have, because now I know how I can help you. Okay, so this video is going to be about specific to your challenges and concerns regarding mental health, whether it's speaking up or not speaking up, or what happens during that whole process and scene. Maybe you've been made to feel, or you feel like a whack job just coming forward. All these sorts of very sensitive topics around mental health and suicide prevention. But what I want to do before we get into it is this is very important for me to be talking about in the first part of the video, and that is about reclaiming our power and how powerful we are as creators and what that means, okay? Without sounding too esoteric, if you are not a spiritual person, what I mean, okay? So when it comes to social change, as I've been very active in this, in my writings and different things from a very young age, that I know that if there are enough of us that bark loud enough and long enough, that things will change, okay? And out there in our personal reality, we can change things, but we have to change inside ourselves first. I feel like that's the missing component, is that a lot of us that have we have the intention and we're putting in the efforts, but it's like that part that's just the believing that we can really create change on a grand scale. Okay, so what I mean by this, and I'm going to give you some examples, is that when I say, again, I've not made this up, you can go back and read about the book. I always talk about Power of the Subconscious Mind. Go back and read the Masterminds, Napoleon Hill, all the thought leaders from the past, everybody else who's been telling us all these things, but they actually never really told us how, in terms of how to believe. Actually, they have told us to an extent, but what I'm doing is combining it all. So whether Law of Attraction or the movie of The Secret or whatever, but I'm just giving you the tips of how I've integrated energy, psychology, and thought and all of that. Okay, so this is how we're going to manifest change. Now, part of going into what I am going to tell you in your first responder industry is that believing you have power. Okay, this is for another video, and you just need to read more and study up on this more. You will understand is that I think the biggest part is you're growing up or whatever, you hear about intuition or these things that happen. Oh, that was a coincidence. I was thinking about them and then they called me, or I saw them, but you never thought really you could create on purpose. Like, I never thought that. And my mom was highly psychic, but she didn't teach me. She just read my mind one day and I was like, I want to do that. And so I just started practicing on things. Okay, that's for another video of what I started doing with that. So is that the belief that you can create. So I'm telling you, you can do it on purpose. And I am not the only one who knows this, okay? And this is what makes life more magnificent, because it almost becomes like a good addiction. Like, oh my gosh, like what else can I do? Okay, believing you can create, coming from love, intention for yourself and of yourself and for others. So for example, let me give you 2 examples and then we will get into you. This is an example of the power of positive thinking and being a creator, like I just said, coming from loving intentions. So my brother and my dad have always had issues, which is stems from a long time ago, and which also doesn't even include my brother having sociopathic behavior and his having no conscience, okay? Borrowing money, scamming people, or stealing. Okay, that's for another segment. Okay, so my dad has always said about how lazy he is. He's always talked shit about him his whole life, and they're off and on talking. But really, I got them to talk after 15 years because I really did not at least want my dad to pass away and them to be angry at each other. And so my dad always talking shit about my brother about being lazy when he doesn't know anything about what he's doing in his life. And my dad does one of the laziest activities, which is reading all day, right? Which I love, but it's lazy, as we I think would all agree. You're just sitting there. Okay, so I finally got them to talk after 15 years. And then also, my dad would always say that my brother would never find a job in Thailand. It's going to be too hard, whatever, whatever, and whatever, whatever. Guess what? He's living there now. So, and I would always tell him that, because every time anybody tries to say anything that you can't do it, it's not possible, it'll never happen, I don't believe it at all. And I've heard people talk about this before, but I don't really know. It's like, oh, that's cool. They think like that. Just like healing your body, which I also believe in. Okay, that's example number one, is just I wanted them to still feel some sort of love and compassion for each other, even when it's over, in a sense, over, done, pass away physically. Okay, number two, love for myself. I've always, I guess, enjoyed some sort of challenge in myself. And so after self-defense, especially, and when I learned that I could create any obstacle that comes in my way. So anything. I wanted to overcome some anxiety within stranger situations, confrontations. One time there was somebody who had actually left her kids in the car. I don't know the age. I think they were actually, though, in car seats. So they must have been right under 2 or something like that. And the windows were down and everything. But I was really nervous about what I was going to say, but I was like, I gotta say something because I know this. And she was just in the tea place, like just right inside the parking spot to the store. But I pushed myself through it. My heart was racing and everything, and it really could have gotten sideways, but I'm still proud of myself for doing it because I wanted to overcome that. And also, if I said something that maybe changed her perception to not do it again, or at least become more aware, I was happy that I could do it. So in that situation, even though maybe if I was somebody else who said it, I still got a positive response, which I basically just told her. I just said, sometimes people call the cops when they see things like that. And she's like, oh, okay. Oh, yeah, I know. I was just going to go back out really quick. So that could have gone one or two ways, right? She could have totally gotten sideways, got mad at me or whatever it was. But I just know that my intentions of love, and I know what it's like to be a mom and you're just doing something quickly. And she actually had other kids with her that could have stayed in the car. So I'm really not sure of that situation. I think she just thought it was okay. So never assume that you know what we're not saying that that is right. I am just saying that some people are unconscious. Sometimes they feel like what they are doing is correct or what they know, okay? So my reaction to be raging and getting mad at her or whatever it is or calling cops, I just chose to do it this way. So those are real life examples, I know, unrelated to first responders, but that's how I can tell you can use this in all facets of your life. Okay, so moving on to the mental health issues and empowering yourself, and what I'm going to tell you today, and always expecting a positive response, you can refer to my on LinkedIn on my video series show that I do with Mark Davidson, and we talk about a little clip on preventing sexual harassment and the things lead up, how to talk, personal space, calling people out on things, and just being direct in a very compassionate way. So you can refer to that episode on that. But the sayings in here can be applied too. Okay. And for those of you just want to help instill more change, if these things don't apply to you in terms of speaking up, it's okay. Just pick and choose. Maybe you want to start mentoring others on how to talk, or, I have lots of ideas for you at the end. Okay. So let's look at the person who either wants to come forward or they're going through this dialogue in their head in terms of speaking up if they are, having some personal struggles from their day or building up, right? We don't want these things to build up in our minds. Okay. Someone might say this: no one will listen, no one cares. I'm just going to forget about it. If I speak up, nothing's going to change anyway. they're just going to call me a pussy and man up. Okay, I think we're evolving away from that kind of talk, but people still say it, right? Okay, so whatever rings true for you. So affirmations are positive statements that help penetrate into our subconscious to retrain our brain. This is all mindset training, okay? This is part of my specialty thing. So yes, you can say these things and they don't really go deep. So it's, I'm just trying to give you some examples, but the more you do it, the more it's going to go in. If you want to post them on your mirror, whatever it is, but be serious when you're talking to yourself or reading this, to yourself. I am important. I am loved. My peers are important. As a team, we are strong. Our needs are important. We are important. Yes, we are. Someone will care and listen. I persist until I find someone who does. The time for change is here. And yes, it is. I expect only positive responses when I speak about this issue. It is well received. Okay, when you're also thinking about this to yourself, another part of that's going to help unblock you to creating and manifesting this new reality is forgiving those people that have talked to you like that tell you to shut up or tell you that you're a pussy or whatever it is, or maybe they acted like they wanted to help and then didn't. Okay, so we need to find it inside your heart to understand where they are coming from. And some of them are just doing their best, okay? So I know you might listen to these sorts of things and this might be difficult for you to do that when you still feel like very angry, okay? These are just the old ways we need to leave behind. Being thrown in the patrol car and you do feel like a whack job and just everybody's staring at you and being judged and everything, just remember it's the conditioning of the culture. And it's not just this. There's so many other things, just like law enforcement, just like there's so many things, and I will get off track if I keep going with this. Now I want to close, and I know that was a lot of information, but I want you to sit with yourself now, if you have a piece of paper or whatever it is, or go back and listen to this, is that what are you willing to do about all of this? How much does it bother you? If it even doesn't even bother you that much, does it bother you that your peers are experiencing this? Or, what can you do? How can you get involved if this does bother you? Because you can. There's other ways. There's other things you can do. Ask yourself, what can I do to make this situation better? What are your skills? Could you write a letter to somebody? Could you learn compassionate skills to help you communicate to leadership? And again, expecting results, positive results. Somebody is going to dig this, okay? There are a lot of good people, of course, that want to help out there. You just have to access the right person. And if you are not very extroverted, you may not have the words. If you also don't know much about conflict resolving, there's a way to, you may run up against a personality who is difficult. So how are you going to manage that? How are you going to talk to them? And so there's dialogue when you just talk to them, just about, or could you be a leader? Saying things like, would you be willing to? How do you feel about? I think we should. Can we talk about this? It sounds so simple, but when you're an extrovert, you don't even know how to do that. And if you're not confident about what you're approaching the person for, it's also more challenging, okay? So, again, I am not a person that I would have said, nice to meet you. I never thought I would even talk like that when I was a teenager because I'm so angry and disgusted with the world. And then also, I am just lacking skills, okay? So, all of this is what I am saying. What I'm saying with this is that to create our own personal reality out there, we have to change ourselves inside, okay? So, know that you are a creator. We can make the lives that we want out there and help facilitate change, okay? And so, I am going to end the video here. I would just like to write down, though, really quickly, is the most important thing that I want you, one of the most important things that I want you to remember is when you're going into this mindset of creating, is creating and believing, is forgiving. Forgiving yourself, forgiving the people that maybe didn't train you in the academy. Like, there are things that are changing now, which I'm really glad to hear about in preparing and, you know, talking about mental health. But creating, forgive first, right? And then the love in intention. And this seems like this doesn't go. Why I'm bringing this up, I'll tell you what this says here, is that why I thought that I would bring this up is that one of the reasons I became so interested in human behavior, wanting to understand people in psychology, I would have thought I would become a psychologist, is personality disorders. It explains so much of why people are the way that they are. So that is another reason, again, to help facilitate why we need to forgive. We need to forgive. That helps us heal, because we are carrying the burden of the anger towards them, okay? So these people and higher ups you're dealing with, or whatever it is, like I just told you, psych ward, or just whatever these things are, is forgiving these people, doing their best, doing what they know. It doesn't mean that it's right. Okay, you've heard this before. Some stuff that I'm not saying is not like anything like totally new. So in creating a new environment in mental health and the getting through to people, is that we have to change ourselves. We have to expect positivity. We have to know there are people that want to help us out here. All of these topics that have been going on for so long, like PTSD, this isn't a new topic. Okay, so holistic health, that's why I talk a lot about that too. Okay, so those are the main things that I wanted to walk away from this video, is knowing that you can create change out there, forgiving yourself and forgiving others, for they know not what they do, or maybe they do. Maybe they have a, I don't know, personality disorder again, okay? Love in intention. Even if you just want to help and do something on the side, maybe you can start your own peer support group. There's so many different things. And so I'm going to go ahead and end this video. If you have any other questions or you want to know more, I'm going to be making more videos, but this one I just wanted to address your concerns in dealing with this mental health issue that has been brought up by not only first responders, but those in the military. And things are changing very slowly, but this is just another step to us on that path to all helping ourselves and creating anything that we want in life for the better. Okay? So my website is rockyourlifewithnorafinch.com, and I am most active on LinkedIn. Check me out there and my video series and YouTube.